I've been lucky enough to be working on AI for almost 15 years now. You're actually building AGI, people would say. People thought it was 50 years away or 100 years away, if it was even possible at all. Talk of AI was, I guess, kind of embarrassing. It wasn't long, though, before AI started beating humans at a whole range of tasks that people previously thought were way out of reach. Understanding images, translating languages, transcribing speech, playing Go and chess, and even diagnosing diseases. And they were rightly asking technologists like me some pretty tough questions. Is it true that AI is going to solve the climate crisis? Does it mean we'll all get universal basic income and we won't have to work anymore? Should I be afraid? One morning over breakfast, my 6-year-old nephew Caspian was playing with Pi, the AI I created at my last company, Inflection. Well, I said, it's a clever piece of software that's read most of the text on the open internet and it can talk to you about anything you want. I was stumped. All my boring stock answers came rushing through my mind. And when it gets better over time, it'll be like an all-knowing oracle that will help us solve grand scientific challenges. Why am I hesitating? It is clear that we are at an inflection point in the history of humanity. On our current trajectory, we're headed towards the emergence of something that we are all struggling to describe. And so the metaphors, the mental models, the names, these all matter if we're to get the most out of AI whilst limiting its potential downsides. I think AI should best be understood as something like a new digital species. Whether you think we're on a 10, 20, or 30-year path here, this is, in my view, the most accurate and most fundamentally honest way of describing what's actually coming. Now, I totally get this is a strong claim, and I'm going to explain to everyone as best I can why I'm making it. With the invention of computers, we quickly jumped from the first mainframes and transistors to today's smartphones and virtual reality headsets. These waves of history are clearly speeding up as each one is amplified and accelerated by the last. The journeys of humanity and technology are now deeply intertwined. We've witnessed one landmark event after another. People said it would never be empathetic. AIs can now drive cars, manage energy grids, and even invent new molecules. 10x per year, every year, for almost a decade. Over the same time, the size of these models has grown from first tens of millions of parameters to then billions of parameters, and very soon, tens of trillions of parameters. But today, the most advanced AIs consume more than 8 trillion words in a single month of training. The long arc of technological history is now in an extraordinary new phase. Or to put it another way, a personal AI. This is their ability to actually get stuff done in the digital and physical world. Every town, building, and object will be represented by a unique interactive persona. And we'll feel this at the most intimate of scales. An AI organizing a community get-together for an elderly neighbor, a sympathetic expert helping you make sense of a difficult diagnosis. They'll both order the takeout and run the power station. They'll speak every language, take in every pattern of sensor data, sights, sounds, streams and streams of information, far surpassing what any one of us could consume in 1,000 lifetimes. What are these AIs? AIs are clearly more dynamic, more ambiguous, more integrated, and more emergent than mere tools, which are entirely subject to human control. So to contain this wave, to put human agency at its center, and to mitigate the inevitable unintended consequences that are likely to arise, we should start to think about them as we might a new kind of digital species. They communicate in our languages. They see what we see. They consume unimaginably large amounts of information. They have memory. They have personality. They have creativity. And so saying AI is mainly about the math or the code is like saying we humans are mainly about carbon and water. We all must choose what we create, what AIs we bring into the world, or not. These are the questions for all of us here today, and all of us alive at this moment. There is no path to progress where we leave technology behind. The prize for all of civilization is immense. And if AI delivers just a fraction of its potential, the next decade is going to be the most productive in human history. In the past, unlocking economic growth often came with huge downsides. And today, we're not discovering a new continent and plundering its resources. We're building one from scratch. AI is to the mind what nuclear fusion is to energy. And AI really is different. AI is itself an infinite inventor. AI is us. It's all of us. Our empathy, our kindness, our curiosity, and our creativity. This, I would argue, is the greatest challenge of the 21st century, but also the most wonderful, inspiring, and hopeful opportunity for all of us.
You are connected at the hip to the amazing work happening at OpenAI. There are reports of these giant new data centers, $100 billion invested, and so forth. And a new species can emerge from it.
I think the great risk is that we get stuck in what I call the pessimism aversion trap. So the good news is that if you look at the last 2 or 3 years, there have been very, very few downsides, right? It's very hard to say explicitly what harm an LLM has caused. But I think that we're still some way away from that. We will design the capability for self-replication into it if people choose to do that. So there's no chance that this will emerge accidentally. It will happen if engineers deliberately design those capabilities in, and if they don't take enough efforts to deliberately design them out. And so this is the point of being explicit and transparent about trying to introduce safety by design very early on.